Hello, I'm back. It's been a while. It's probably been about a week, I suppose. I've been busy. Busy. Where am I at? Yeah, last video I did, I think I said something about that. I set myself new challenges and new goals and this sort of thing, and I was giving myself about 90 days to get down to a certain weight and look a certain way, and we're still doing that. It has actually taken me a little bit longer to get back onto my diet on what it was before I went away to now. I have been slacking off a little bit, but before I went away, before I went to Vegas a couple of weeks back, I drilled new holes into my weightlifting belt. My weightlifting belt, which I wear when I squat and deadlift. No other time do I wear a belt, just when I squat and deadlift. So I drilled these new holes into it because I'd lost weight, and my stomach, my waist was a lot thinner, a lot smaller. So I drilled those new holes. And when I came back from Vegas, I was expecting to have to. I've got one of the belts that you actually, to adjust it, you have to unscrew it, and move the clasp along. I was expecting to have to do this, and I haven't. I have put on weight since coming back from Vegas. I'm somewhere, depending what day of the week I weigh myself on, I'm somewhere between 180 and 185 pounds. But I've not had to. I'm still on the same drilled hole on the weightlifting belt, so my waist hasn't really got much bigger. It feels a bit tighter, but it's not to the point of uncomfort where I need to move it. So what I want to talk about today, this video is one that I've been meaning to make for a long time, and I've just not had time. Just busy as fuck, man. So here it is. This video is called Why I'm Not Afraid to Get Fat. Why I'm not afraid to get fat. I went to Vegas and I stuffed my face, and I've still, as I said before, still not got back to my diet that I was on before Vegas. I've still been having some treats and things there. I'm not meticulous about macros in the way that other people are. I don't panic if the scales say I put on pounds and all these things. So why is that? Why am I not massively afraid of these things when other people get very hung up on it? I've known, well, probably more in the females, with females anyway, they get on the scales and they put on a pound. I've seen girls burst into tears over this and this sort of thing. But it doesn't worry me, and being fat doesn't worry me. Or if I was to go on a mad binge and get fat, I'm not worried about it, I'm not bothered about it. How we are with food, this is, by the way, this is not fact, this is my opinion. Sorry, let's not state what I'm about to say now is not proven, tried, tested, or anything like that. But I believe our attitudes to food are very dependent on our own personal histories with it. A good example of this is a cousin that I have. She was made to eat everything on her plate before she could leave the table. This is when she was a very little girl. Mum and Dad always said, eat everything before you leave the table. And this was drilled into her from a very young age. So whenever food was put in front of her, she ate it all, whether she was hungry or not, because her mum and dad had made her do it. And think of the starving children and all that sort of thing. And this led her to be overweight, and she had many problems with her weight through her life. Other people that I've heard of have had the opposite happen. They eat very quickly because at some point in their past food was taken from them. So they ate a lot there because it was ingrained in them psychologically that the food was going to be taken away at some point, because they were a slow eater or whatever. So that's the kind of the negative thing with a past relationship with food. I mean, my own, I think comes a lot from what I was like in school, and also I think we had, when I was in school, in my house we had very little in the way of junk food. My mum was actually really quite healthy with what was brought in into the house. I mean, I'd go over to another kid's house after school and they'd have all kinds of chocolate and Coca-Cola and things like this that my friend's mum would give to us. And whenever a kid came over to my house after school, we had very little. I could offer them a glass of water and maybe a digestive biscuit, something like that, which is hardly junk food. So when I had my own money when I was older or whatever, to make up for lost time, I could have junk food whenever I wanted it. So that's maybe why I put on weight, sort of college, university, that sort of thing, past the age of 16 when I had a bit more money and that, and I could buy my own food. There you go. But why I'm not afraid of getting fat now is because I've changed my personal history, if you like, with food. Now when I look back at my own personal history of food and exercise, I can cite many times when I've gone from being, you could say, fat or overweight to being in shape. I did it for weightlifting, I've done it for running, I've done it for boxing. So now I know I can do it. I know I can lose weight at the drop of a hat. I know I can do a 12-week plus fitness regime that will just drop the weight off me. Now you could argue, well, that's unhealthy in itself because I'm yo-yo dieting. Well, where I'm at now as my natural walking around weight, you could say, is I'm probably thinner than I've ever been at any other time in my life. I'm not, I'm not binging from where I am now. In fact, it's the opposite. I'm sort of looking at myself and going, well, I've had enough of a relaxed diet and I want to get back to the weight loss and serious muscle gain and all that sort of thing. And I think that counts for a lot, really. I think when you've lost weight in the past, you should take that as a positive and you just go, well, I'll do it again. I mean, and then on the other side of it, you could look at, well, if it was a real struggle to lose the weight, well, you don't want to go back there. I think a lot of people are worried about that as well. If you've been really overweight and you've had all the depression and all the shit that goes along with it, you don't want to go back there. And I think that's why a lot of people get meticulous about what they're eating and counting macros and calories, because they're just, I don't want to go back there, I don't want to go back there. But there you go. Anyway, so I think that's about all for this video, but that's why I'm not afraid of losing weight, because I know I've spent a long time at my computer researching and learning about fat loss and fitness and all this sort of thing, and I just believe I've got the tools to do it now. And once you've got the tools, you tend not to worry so much. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will see you soon. Goodbye.